So the format is you will be submitting to me and one of your classmates typed answers on peer review worksheet. The worksheet is attached. Details go like this. You will work your peer on his or her draft of the research paper. Your goal is to help your peer improve the content and organization of the essay, in addition to the clarity of writing. And you will follow these steps. The first step is you will reach each other's papers. Use the worksheet below to help you generate good feedback, but also make sure you write on their paper. Be sure to explain why something needs to be improved. Focus on things like content and organization before you worry about editing. Make sure you can identify the key players and their arguments, the terminology of the controversy, a relevant history, a clear status quo, and easy to follow main ideas. Right? So you might notice that these are all the steps that you are supposed to execute while writing your own paper. You are supposed to, mention all these elements in your paper that you all have already written. Okay. Now you are going to read your one of your classmates' paper in order to see if that one particular classmate also has completed these elements of the paper that they have written. Make sure to highlight 2 or 3 things you think your partner has done well and 2 or 3 things that could be improved. Make sure you offer actual suggestions for revision, not just this needs improvement. So don't just write it needs improvement. Rather, give the concrete suggestion to your classmate. So you will be reviewing the paper of your classmate as a teacher will review the assignment of their student. So there is a note on giving and receiving feedback. Be courteous and fair. That is, even if you are pointing out something which needs to be completely changed, or you are pointing something which appears to be a glaring mistake, you need to describe that in a very courteous manner. And then you also should be fair in your response and feedback. Okay, so that don't judge something to be wrong when it is obviously right. So be fair in your feedback. That is the first thing. Be courteous and fair. Number 2, receive criticism graciously. Do not get defensive. So everyone, even the best writers, can benefit from peer review and revision, right? So when you receive your feedback from your peer, don't get defensive and you know, uh, don't feel that you have been kind of mistreated, okay? Because it is very common uh, for all the writers to receive, negative feedback from their peers, okay? And the reason for that is that no writer is a perfect writer. There are always shortcomings in what we write, and there are always things which need to be improved in our writing. So getting a peer review is a great way to uh, identify the shortcomings in our writing that we probably uh, overlook. Um, Also, when you are writing a paper, you write your paper in a particular state of mind. You are focusing on so many things at one and the same time. You are reading the material and you are using that material in your writing. Also, when you are reading so much material and you are consulting so much material, what very often happens is that we try, even if we try to avoid that, but still there is a kind of tendency for us to use everything that we have read in our paper. We feel that because we have read something, therefore it must go on the paper, right? Uh, but when somebody else reads your paper, only they can tell you that you have put all this material or a lot of this material, uh, uh, just to fill the space. But it is not making any sense, or it is too much material that you have borrowed and put on the paper. Things of that kind. So you, as a writer, cannot look at your paper from the reader's perspective, right? Because you are writing it, you look at it from writer's perspective. You think that because you have a lot of stuff that you have read, therefore you should put all of that in your paper, right? So that is a kind of writer's perspective. You look at it from the writer's perspective. But if you allow anybody else to read your paper, then they read it from a reader's perspective, and they tell you whether they follow your argument, whether they understand what is the organization of your paper like, and finally whether your language is clear enough, right? So therefore we shouldn't feel either defensive, or we shouldn't feel nervous about our paper being read by anybody else. All right. So what exactly you people will do is, when you receive an assignment from your classmate, you will give feedback on that in the review option. Okay. So for example, see, this is a Word document opened in front of you. Okay. Can you see the Word document?
Yes, sir.
So in order to give your feedback on the students, on your classmates paper, you will turn on the review option. Look at this. This is the review option. So right, this is home page, but this is the review option. Okay. And then you will turn on tracking, right? Usually it is like this: tracking, and then turn on. Okay. And keep it all markup, right? So now there are two things that you can do with this paper below. One thing is that you can give a comment. You can write a comment. For example, you select this one, and then you go to the comment section like this. All right, and then you can write your comments over here. Whatever suggestion or comment you want to make. That is one thing that you can do. The other thing that you can do is, using this tracking option, you can correct something, right? So for example, there are certain spelling that you want to change, or there is certain word that you want to change. For example, you want to suggest that this word pept should be removed. So you can just delete it. But when you delete it, uh, your classmate will be able to see what you deleted over there. All right. So your suggestions will appear in the comments, and your corrections that you do, they will appear uh, uh, just like this, right? As deleted or as changed. Okay, and the final thing about this is that you can write your additional comments at the you will write the additional comments in the worksheet. I'll show you the worksheet right now. Okay, so this is peer critique worksheet. So Based upon your review of that particular paper, then you will provide feedback on this sheet. On the top, your name and then your partner's name, whose paper you read, and the comment on introduction, right? The introduction of the paper. Did you find an attention getter there? Is it successful? Does it have a clear one sentence thesis introducing the purpose of this paper? If so, what is it? Does it have a clear peer preview that shows reader the organization of their paper? If so, what is it? Now, there are two ways to, uh, you know, put the information on the worksheet. One way is that you can just use, this worksheet, and you can write in the PDF format. I don't know it can work for you or not, but in some computers it does. In some cases it does not, right? But you can type over here too, right? This is one option. The other option is that you can just print this page, right? And you can write your responses on this page. And the third option, I think that probably is the best option. You can just copy these questions in MS Word, okay, and write the responses over there, and then submit to me the worksheet, right? So you can copy whole of it on Word document and write your responses over there. For example, if you copy just the introduction, so I'll share with you this sheet, right? So you have all these questions over here, right? And you can write your answers like this. Okay. So answers will go under the questions, right? You will have more space in this case, right? So when you send me the you know and when you send me and your classmate the peer critique feedback, you will attach this sheet along worksheet, right? So it's up to you how you want to manage it. You if you think there is enough space on this page, you can write on this. If not, then copy it on MS Word and write in MS Word, and then attach that MS Word file along with the feedback.
Sir, what is the deadline for this assignment?
This is 10th of January. I told in the beginning. I'll discuss that once again. Okay, so let's get back to the questions. These are the three questions. They are about the introduction of the paper that you read. Now, these are the questions about the body of the paper. Are the arguments clear and arranged in an effective manner? Any suggestion for improvement? Are there clear transitions between points? If not, point out where your partner needs to add in transitions. Does each para have a clear topic sentence? How effective is the organization? Main points in logical order in development of thesis? If not, how would you suggest improvement? Do you feel informed about the history of your paper's controversy, your peer's controversy? Is there other information the audience would need to understand the controversy better? Do you understand the status quo of your peer's controversy? If so, what is the current status quo? Summarize it for your peer. Who are the key players in the controversy? Name them. Does the author adequately define key terms for the reader? Are there any places where you can suggest improvement? And then finally, conclusion. Comment on the conclusion. Does the conclusion recap the thesis and main points? Does the conclusion have a summarizing statement or a so what answer? Now comment on the research in the controversy analysis paper. What types of sources has the author already consulted and included? Do you have recommendations for types of sources, information, or evidence you would like to see? Finally, comment on the style. Does the author use unbiased neutral language throughout the essay, like using a reporter's voice, neutral tone? Are there places the author could be more objective? Does the author add in his or her own opinion? Are the sentences concise and easy to follow? Does the essay flow logically in an easy to flow manner? Is the paper free of grammatical, spelling, and typographical errors? Mark errors on the essay and return it to your peer. Okay, so basically, you will create two files. The first file will be the file of the original paper that your classmate sent to you. Okay, the original paper of your classmate. You will write comments and suggestions and changes on the paper using track changes option. That is file 1. File 1, after the file 1, this will be the file 2, which is peer critique worksheet. I will share this worksheet with you all. This is file 2. You have to respond to these questions in file 2. All of these questions. And the answers of these questions will be with reference to the same paper on which you gave feedback, right? Now, how this assignment will be done. So there are kind of three parts of the assignment. The first part is that I will ask you to, first of all, I will inform you who is going to be your peer, right? Now, the first part of the assignment for you is to email your paper to your peer. All right, email your paper to your peer. That is the first step. Okay, you can do it on Monday, right? I'll send you the name of your partner uh, by by Monday morning or by Sunday evening, and you will be sharing you will be sending your paper to your peer by this Monday. This is the first step of the assignment. Second step of the assignment for you is to uh, write feedback on the paper as well as in the worksheet. You will do that by 10th January. All right, by January 10th. And you have to send the paper with feedback as well as the peer critique sheet. You have to send that back to your partner or peer by 10th of January. And when you send the paper back to your partner, you will be copying that paper to me as well. All right. So the first step is to email your paper to your peer. The second step is to write feedback on the paper as well as on the worksheet. And the third step is to email the paper that you reviewed, to email that paper as well as the peer review worksheet. Two attachments. Send these two attachments to back to your peer as well as copy that to me. That is the third step. Students, your questions.